A common question I get from freelancers who are just getting started is, should I start with a low rate to be more competitive, or should I start with a higher rate? There is definitely debate in the self-employed world for beginners and what you should charge. I'm going to break it down for you on all the factors influencing your rate and whether you should start low or high, because it depends. It depends. So first of all, if you're just getting started, let's say maybe you're a web designer and you're still kind of practicing your craft and you're not, you have some level of skill, but you still need some more practice to really be good, then you want to start at a lower rate because your skill level is not worth charging a higher rate. Maybe your skill level is at the $20 an hour rate, but not the $50 an hour rate. And so that is something you need to be able to look at. And if your skill level is at the expert level, so let's say you haven't had any clients yet. Let's say you're just getting started, you're just beginning, but you've had tons of practice doing stuff for free for just either fake projects or for other people, and you know what you're doing. And whether you're a video editor, a computer programmer, or a web designer, a marketing consultant, if you know what you're doing and you have a portfolio to prove it, but you're just getting started, in other words, you're just starting your business, you're just starting an actual career on what you're doing, then there's no reason to start at a low rate at all. It doesn't matter whether you're going on Upwork or Fiverr or platforms, or just not going on any platform and just networking your way to finding clients. You start with a high rate, and through communication skills, you convince clients to pay you that rate, even if you don't have a ton of testimonials from previous clients yet, because you haven't had a client yet. You can show them your work and you can prove to them that you know what you're doing. And there's no reason to start at a lower rate. Now, if you're doing something, let's talk about different types of skills because that affects it too. Let's say you're doing let's say you are a coder and you code for websites, you're a computer programmer. That type of skill is something where you can practice that skill and you can gain the knowledge without ever working for a client, and you know what you're doing. And you can usually start at a pretty high rate. Now, if you're doing something like what I'm doing, where you're giving, where I am a marketing consultant, I do video marketing, and a lot of my work is very, it's customized depending on the client, and there's a lot of strategy involved, and I have to almost experiment with clients to gain the expertise to do what I'm doing. So for me, I needed to start at a lower rate to gain the expertise by experimenting with actual clients before raising that rate now that I have results to be able to back that up. It's a little less tangible of a service, and the results I'm delivering people are a little less tangible and they vary. Whereas somebody who is programming for a website, there's a very clear end product and there's a very exact way to do it regardless of the person you're working for. You learn how to code, there's an exact way to do it regardless of who you're doing work for. And so you don't need to have experience with clients to be able to say, hey, I know what I'm doing. I've studied this, I've practiced. So that factors into your rate as well. You don't want to undervalue yourself. Never tell yourself, hey, just because I am starting out, I should be charging a lower rate so that I'm competitive. Lower rates do not make you competitive. When I raised my rate, when I doubled and tripled my rate, I started working with a lot higher quality clients who saw my higher rate as competitive because they expected a better result. So I actually won bids for clients against people that had a rate that was 3 times as less as mine, because they expected a better end product from me, because a higher rate communicates higher value. Hopefully you're delivering higher value, And so it never makes you competitive by just lowering your rate. If you have the skill, if you have the ability to get the result for your client that they want, then you charge what it's worth. And what it's worth is relative. There's no industry rates, so stop Googling what the industry rate is for a video editor. Industry rate is something in the corporate world, not being self-employed, not as a freelancer. There's no such thing as an industry rate. You charge whatever the heck you want. I've charged $50 for a specific task, and I've charged $200 for the exact same task. And once I started valuing myself, and because I knew that the client saw that it was worth it. And the only way you really, again, there's always going to be some experimentation involved. There's always going to be some level of you pitching a certain price to a client. And if they accept it and then they're satisfied with the end product, now you have proof that what you delivered is worth that. And I've had times where I charged a certain price for a certain service. And let's just say I charged $300. But then in the end, I realized that I maybe got $40 an hour for the time I put in. So the next time I decided to pitch $500. Oh, great, now I'm getting $50 an hour for the time I'm putting in. And the client was still satisfied. And then, okay, then I went ahead and decided to charge $800. And the client was still satisfied. And they thought it was worth $800, but now I'm getting like $150 an hour. So there's always going to be some level of experimentation involved where you're just choosing a price that you think it's worth. You're seeing if a client's willing to pay it, and then you're hoping that they're satisfied in the end, which means that you delivered a product that actually is worth that. And now you can keep charging that, and you can keep trying to raise your price until you hit that threshold of, okay, now to keep raising my price, because what happened with me is there's different services and products that I've pitched to clients. And by product, I mean a service-based product where I'm doing something for them related to video marketing. It's not a physical product. And I kept increasing the price until eventually I hit a threshold where for me to keep increasing the price, I needed to actually upgrade my product. I needed to upgrade what I ended up delivering them for it to keep matching the value. And that's something you just figure out over time. So hopefully this video is helpful to you. It's again, I didn't give you a clear answer on this is what you should charge, because that is up to you. It's completely up to you on what you need to charge. There's going to be experimentation involved, but really the formula just comes down to, do you have the skill level to deliver the client the end product that they want, and are they willing to pay what you want to charge? And if so, then that's what you charge. At the end of the day, you could charge $50 an hour, you could charge $200 an hour, and as long as the client is satisfied with what they got, there's no reason to overthink and overanalyze how much time you put in per hour and whether it's matching industry rates or whatever else. You just go on your instincts on what to charge, but make sure that you do. If you don't have enough of a finessed skill, then make sure that you start lower so that it's lower risk for the client, so that as you're practicing and building up your skill, they don't have as much risk involved. So I'm Chad Gravelese, and I will catch you next time.